Hello everyone and welcome back to some Wario Land Shake with every single coin. This is part 4, so let's go. Now, today we're going to be taking a look at World Free. So first up, we're going to need to go ahead and buy the map. Now, the thing about this world is there aren't really any major problems. Although, the last two levels are pretty long, so I will be speeding them up. But without further ado, let's head off to World Free. And don't be fooled, even though it has a circus, it's actually only 2 levels are circus themed. One of those being a secret level. And I guess you could count the boss. But first we're going to go ahead and start off with the wreck train. Definitely not a pun on train wreck. That's something I kind of wanted to bring up actually though. These levels have names. It's not just 1-1, 2-1, 4-6. No, the levels actually are known by name. Imagine if the new Super Mario Bros. Series did this. And you might have just saw it, but yeah, there's a diamond right there. We can't get it until the end. And something I wanted to also talk about in this level is that it actually sort of tells a story, somewhat. That being of you going to stop the train before running back across it, back to the goal. And I feel like that's actually a really good idea for a level. And it's really interesting how they did it. So as you can see right now, the train's moving, everything's on. And then once you actually shake open the Merfolk, you'll go ahead and you'll see that the train stops moving. You crashed it, and then you actually have to escape by running across the top of the train, which I think is a pretty interesting idea. Now, right now we're going ahead and we're collecting a few coin bags. Thankfully, we're still up to an even number of 8,750 coins. And we're almost to the last part of the level. Well, not really. We still have a lot left. We have this little thing where we have to hit it 3 times with a ball. And then we can proceed to the next idea. That being a whole lot of springs and a whole lot of fire geysers. First, you have to go ahead and you have to bounce across. Yeah, there's no coins in the top left. But here we get to our first section with fire geysers. You can just damage boost through them. In fact, that's something that speedrunners use in this game. But there's no rush in this level, so I just decided to take my time with it. Now we do have to go ahead and we have to grab a few coins, but there's also a pipe with a treasure chest in it. Now here we have to go ahead and throw the ball directly up in order to hit the switch. It's not too hard, and with that we're able to go ahead and grab the treasure chest. In fact, we're even able to take the ball with us. And we get hotter sauce. And now, we can go ahead and collect another golden coin before moving on. We have a few more fire geysers, another gold coin, and now we're on to the next screen. And this screen puts everything together. Fire geysers, dash boxes, and a whole lot of maneuvering around. We can go through this little tunnel to go ahead and grab a giant diamond. And then we can go ahead and use the dash box in order to go ahead and get another little treasure by ducking underneath the fire geysers. I forgot that the fire geysers reach so low. So I forgot to slide, but that's what you're supposed to do. So that's what I go ahead and do on this attempt. I slide under, I go ahead and break the silver crate before grabbing the treasure chest. And now we're at the last section. All we have to do is get past this essentially a mini boss, the engine of a train. Now, I go with this strategy in order to somewhat cheese the boss. You're supposed to go ahead and do that jump 3 times, but I just decided to stay on the little steam valve. Go ahead and just avoid having to do that jump. And with that, we're almost at the end. And there we go. The train has stopped. Now, sadly, the boss, or not the boss, but the run back is actually pretty difficult, so it took me a few tries to get. Now, the thing about this is you cannot lose the dash box, because you can't make it back to the dash box if you, well, mess up. And there's some pretty precise places you have to squeeze into. First, you have to go ahead and make this jump, turn around, and go ahead and collect these silver coins. If you crash, you lose. You make this small jump, and now we have to do a few more. All these jumps are pretty precise, and they're easy to mess up. And if you don't turn around quick enough after going into that little cave or train section, you'll go ahead and hit the wall and you'll lose your dash box and you won't be able to collect the coins in the air. And just as one little trick, I decided to go ahead and keep my dash box even through the sliding, even though I don't really need to. And with that, the wreck train is complete. And now we can go ahead and move on to, well, the next level. That being based on a cave called Stonetooth Cave. Now, something interesting about Stonetooth Cave is that the stone teeth actually have coins in them, and they can only be broken with the dash box. So we have to make sure we hit every stone tooth in this entire cave. Now, that wouldn't be so much of a problem if it wasn't in the section where we return to the actual beginning of the level. So we do have to do it on a timer. And it's somewhat of a precise route. But first off, we need to go ahead and make sure we don't crush this giant coin bag before taking it over to the loading zone. This level thankfully gives us a lot of loading zones to throw our coins into, allowing us to get perfect amounts of money every time. And don't be fooled, we're not done with this section yet. We still have another piece of treasure to the left. You just have to bounce off the bandoliero before grabbing another giant coin bag. I'm not sure if it's faster to throw the giant coin bags instead of actually just carrying it, but who knows. I think it is actually faster, just because of how slow Wario moves if he's carrying it. We go ahead and empty this one into the loading zone as well, collect the coins, and now we're already up to 10,000 coins. And now we can go ahead and move on to the next screen. Now we go ahead and we meet up with a gimmick of this level. That being these little blocks that you're not supposed to touch for a mission. Thankfully, we don't care about that mission and we can use them as platforms. But first, we're going to need to go ahead and grab a giant coin bag. Now, these little fires are kind of annoying because you have to deal with them. I tried to be cool and bounce off the side. Yeah, it didn't really work. It's easier just to go to the left. But after a few tries, I just decided to go ahead and complete it the normal way. Now, something else to note is that if Wario is in his fire state, like this, coin bags will be incinerated. I believe I didn't want to try it out because that would be a waste of money. I go ahead and empty this coin bag before going down the pipe. Now, this is another gimmick of this level, that being these conveyor belts. Actually, this is one of the first gimmicks of this level. But it's used to lower a bomb. And now we can go ahead and proceed with the level. Now on this screen you see some stone teeth. These cannot be accessed. You bash through them from the other side after you release the Murphle, so you can't actually get to it yet. That's kind of a tight throw because you're on a moving conveyor belt and that block is pretty small to hit. Thankfully we're able to hit it and we're able to move on. Also, you might have noticed it, but there's also a giant diamond that we're going to need to collect, so just keep that in the back of your mind. Next, we come up to some more fire and some more conveyor belts. All we have to do is we need to go ahead and hit that switch, which we can do by throwing a bat up there. We go ahead and turn it so that way the fire actually lands somewhere other than the water. And now we can go ahead and collect some more money. Something that I found here was that standing on top of the pipe normally gets all the coins. I was lucky enough to get that last coin. And you might not have noticed it, but these coins disappear really quickly, so I have to make sure I hit every single one. Now, I just messed up the bomb here, although I can retry as many times as I need. It's not too hard. The strategy that I use is immediately after I come out of the pipe, I shake, and this is with the conveyor already on. Then I go ahead and jump twice underneath the block, turning it off and on, and that'll get it perfectly every time. Who needs skill when you can just use strategy? Here we get to another gimmick of this level, that being these little crushing little, I don't even know, cylinders? Yeah, we'll just go with that because they don't actually have a name. Now, we can go ahead and do some platforming on them, and we're actually pretty close to the end of a level. We just have to go ahead and deal with this money bag. Now, while honestly the majority of the level was pretty easy, there is one thing that is a challenge in this level, that being the actual run back. So, let me explain why. The first thing you're going to need to do is you're going to need to release the Murphle. Now what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get in the dash box. You can break through some of the teeth here, but you're not going to be able to get all of them. You get the next free leading into this little cave. Don't take the dash box, you can't use it. It doesn't matter. Come down here for some gold coins. But oh wait, there's more. And that's actually up on a ledge that we can't reach. So we're going to need to actually take the dash box through. So the way we do that is by re-entering the pipe, or we can just go ahead and go through this normally. We go ahead and grab this giant coin sack before shaking the entire coin sack out. Now we can go ahead and actually take the dash box because it's required. Now, we can't really access the dash box now because we're too low to the ground. Although this pipe takes us out, and since we already broke the teeth of this little fossil, we can actually just re-enter and grab the dash box up above. Now we need to make our way through this normally, break the teeth before making our way through. So we go ahead and now we need to collect that giant diamond. Now, this is honestly pretty easy, and if it didn't work out here, I could just go back through the fossilized teeth. Thankfully, it doesn't really matter, we're able to move on. Now, we're almost at the end of the level, and we're about to hit the third level, or It's All Mine. Yes, that's the title that they decided to go with, It's All Mine. Now, the thing about It's All Mine is it's a really long level. It's essentially, in my opinion, Stone Tooth Cavern or Stone Tooth Cave version 2. And there's nothing wrong with that, it just takes a while. So I'm going to be speeding this up by a factor of 2. So if you want it to be normal speed, then you can just go on your phone, and there's actually a setting to set the speed of the video to half speed. Now we're able to go ahead and start this level, and you might immediately notice that there's a way for us to exit the level by using a exit cannon. Although we don't have to worry about that. Now I immediately grabbed a diamond, and now we're already going through the level pretty quickly. We go ahead and use this pitchfork. Yeah, this isn't like a spiked bandinero. No, it's called a pitchfork. Good enemy design. And we're already in the next section of this level. Now here we have to go ahead and go below in order to get into a pipe for a treasure. Also a singular silver coin. Because of course we did. Now we exit the level, or this little section, and we're able to proceed. Now this next section isn't so bad actually. Mostly because there's no coins in it. Although we do have some pretty precise shots with a ball. Although, geez. Because that's fun. Just make sure you ground pound there. We grab another giant coin bag before making our way to the next screen. Now here make sure to grab the pitchfork, don't kill him, he's useful. Shake the ground, grab him, and throw him against the wall. Then we can go ahead and go up here. Now we can go ahead and use fire in order to actually make our way to the next section. We can grab a giant coin bag, and we can empty it out in this little cove. Now we can go ahead and use fire again to our advantage in order to make our way all the way up to the top. Now that we're here, we can go ahead and enter the pipe, and we can try to make this. You have to make a pretty precise jump there. And after doing that, you can actually grab the ball out of midair. It's pretty hard to do though. Thankfully we're able to get it, and we're able to grab the treasure chest. And now we're able to move on. Now, the next section isn't that bad, although you do have to be careful because just like in Mount Lava Lava, you have bomb blocks that don't respawn, and they lead to a treasure chest. So you have to be pretty precise, and you have to not mess up here, or at least after you touch the bomb block. Who knows? This treasure might be possible without the dash box actually. I might actually make a video on that later. But without further ado, I went ahead and used the dash box in order to actually grab the treasure. And you might have just saw, but there's a coin bag there as well, which we're going to go ahead and grab now. I decided to go back to the bottom because it's the safest place, and empty out the coin bag. I make my way back up to the top before continuing with the level. Now we have a cannon. And we're at the end of a level. Or at least we are about to rescue the the Merfolk. Now, this little rescue section is kind of difficult. It's not too bad, but it can be kind of tricky. And it kind of has a specific route. First, you actually have to get the Merfolk down. And I was just sort of messing around trying to get it in an unintended way, but eventually I just decided to throw the ball and get the Merfolk down. Now, this little escape scene isn't too precise, but you have to go through a somewhat precise route. First of all, go ahead and go down here. Or, I thought you would have to because there's stuff down here, but nope, no coins. So, we need to take the top route. We can go ahead and climb up the ladder in order to make our way up, before getting back into the dash box. We go ahead and collect the coins that are up above. And now we're able to proceed. Now this is the actual difficult part, because we have a golden enemy, which we cannot actually kill yet, because we are in a dash state, which would kill the pitchfork, and it wouldn't give us any coins, or it would only give us one. And as you can assume, that's not very good, so we need to go ahead and lose our dash state, so that way when we kill the pitchfork, we don't actually lose all the coins from it. We're able to shake out all of its coins before killing it, and now we're able to move on to the next section of the level. And what do you know, at high velocity as well, because we have another dash box. We go ahead and blast out before almost finishing the level. We just have a few more jumps, and now we're able to complete it. All we have left is one last level, and how hard could that be? Well, it's not that it's hard, but there is one thing to talk about. That is, it's just like It's All Mine. That being, it's extremely long. So just like It's All Mine, I'm going to be speeding this up again by 2. And with that, It's All Mine is complete. And we've actually got a couple of the missions done as well. Here's a quick fun fact about Glitter Town. This one, because it doesn't really have any problems, I was able to get it on my first try. Unlike a lot of the other ones, actually. Now, this is the Circus Beams level. Well, at least one of them. The secret map level is also Circus Beam. And one of the gimmicks here is these rising water fountains. Now, these rising water fountains are kind of annoying because there's coins on top of them. And they immediately offset our coin counter. So, of course, we're going to have 80 on our total screen. Now we're able to go ahead and grab this giant coin bag. And we're able to shake it out in the loading zone. Now, don't be fooled. This floor is a fake. We have floor down here. And we can go ahead and grab a treasure chest. It's actually kind of funny that this game doesn't have any bottomless pits. Yeah, there's not a single one in this entire game. You cannot be insta-killed at all. Like, when you get crushed, you just get flat into the floor and you can crawl out. If you get hit with any of the weird power-ups like the actual, well, fire from It's All Mine, or a giant ball of snow like in one of the future levels, you don't actually die. It's just sort of a gimmick. I think it's one of the few games to not actually include insta-death pits or ways to insta-die. But who knows, there probably is some way to instantly die in this game that I'm probably forgetting. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention, this level has slot machines, which include luck. Also, these slot machines are, well, some of them have coins in them. And because, technically, these slot machines can be used over and over again, and you can get tons of coins. In fact, you can get infinite amounts of coins. So, if a slot machine has a coin in it, I'm not going to be counting it for this run because it's an infinite source of coins. So, yeah. That wouldn't really make sense. I'm pretty sure Wario's world at least has some source of economy and not a total world of inflation. Now we're able to go ahead and we just got another secret map and we're able to proceed with another money bag. We're able to shake out the money bag and now we're pretty much ready to move on to the next scene. And I just wanted to double check because this little room is pretty big actually. So I just wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything in it. Also, there's a giant silver crate that you might have noticed. I tried to destroy it with the armored bandinero, I believe that's what they're called. And yeah, it just doesn't get high enough. Now we're able to go ahead and we're able to move to the next section. I forgot about the golden enemy, so I had to go ahead and do this jumping section again, once backwards, and then I had to go ahead and reset the room, and then do it again while carrying a bandinero. Now I was able to release the golden enemy before shaking out all of his coins and moving on with the level. Now we're almost at the end of the level, but we do have a few little hidden little things like this. Yay, a giant coin bag. And there's one other thing that's actually hidden in this little room. That being on the other side. Now, you might be able to see it, but you might not be able to, but there's a little platforming challenge on the left. This little platforming challenge is kind of hard to deal with, and I was thankfully able to notice it before I grabbed the Murphle. I wish I was able to say that, but nope. I didn't realize it until it was too late. Now, I decided to go ahead and still try for this run, and what do you know, I was actually able to find a hidden block. I was able to go ahead and go up and grab a giant diamond before moving on with the level. Now, here we get one of those slot machines that don't count because they have an infinite amount of money. I go ahead and grab a bomb because I thought it was going to help. It did not, to say the least. Now, this little section, we do not want to lose the dash box because we need it for a treasure chest. So after pretty carefully maneuvering around this little armored bandinero, we're able to go ahead and grab the treasure chest before moving on to the last little screen. Here we go down here, and we're able to go through another dash box before collecting tons of coins. We go ahead and collect the coins before being able to move on to the last screen. And there we go. We're back at the beginning. And now we have one final boss. Well, this isn't the final boss, but the boss of this world. And this boss is actually kind of really creepy in some ways. Like, they kind of went a step above New Super Mario Bros. Again. And they decided to make this boss based off a clown. Except it's sort of a robot, except it's really weird and it's probably in some kids' nightmares now. Also, if you have nightmares of this thing, then I hope you get rid of them. Because this little thing can be actually kind of terrifying. And here it is. What were the game developers thinking? Yeah, this boss is entirely based off this little guy. And we have to bash his head. Just like a Mario. Except we're Wario, so we're going to do it better than him. Just like everything else in this game. Now, sadly, we're not able to actually just hit him like normal after we hit him on the head a few times. We actually have to continue to hit him on the head. And you're probably thinking right now, well, this boss seems pretty easy. But it actually gets a lot harder in his second and third phases. Now, his second phase doesn't start until we get a few more hits off of him, so let's go ahead and do that. We go ahead and hit his head a few more times, and now we're on to the next phase. Now, these little projectiles aren't so hard to kind of avoid. But now we have a spinning fire bar. And it's not that much of a problem. Yet. And then this thing decides to go ahead and it decides to make its fire bar a little bit bigger. Like that. Why? And now we have more fire, because of course we needed more fire. Thankfully we're able to take it down, and we can go ahead and get a few more hits off of it. Although that wouldn't be it, because of course it isn't. And if you're wondering, also, where's the secret levels? Those were voted for definitely when I posted the poll. Well, I'll be showing those a little bit later. After I get past the final boss, I'll go back and go for every secret map. And I'll go ahead and show the secret levels. But that'll be after the last level, where the final boss is shown. If it's possible. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching. And I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.